In a world that demands an immediate response, there is a terrifyingly effective power in saying absolutely nothing. We've been taught that defending our honor is a sign of strength, but what if I told you that the moment you start explaining yourself, you've already lost the lead? True authority doesn't need a witness, and true character doesn't need a lawyer. We live in an era of receipts and clapbacks. We've been conditioned to believe that if someone insults us, misjudges us, or spreads a lie, we must stand up and fight. We think that silence is a sign of weakness, a white flag of surrender, but the reality is the opposite. When you open your mouth to defend your character, you've actually handed your power over to the person attacking you. You are essentially saying, your opinion of me is more important than my own peace. Today, we're looking at why your silence is the ultimate power move for your reputation and your peace of mind. If you're ready to master the art of Stoic confidence and stop letting others control your narrative, stay tuned. Imagine a bustling city known for its cutthroat politics and vanity. In the heart of this city lived a master sculptor named Silas. Silas didn't just carve stone, he carved truth. His work was so precise that people traveled across oceans just to stand in the presence of his statues. Silas was a man of few words. He spent his days in a quiet studio, covered in gray dust, eyes fixed on the marble. He didn't attend the local galas, he didn't lobby the critics, he simply worked, believing that the chisel spoke louder than the tongue. However, success always breeds a shadow. A younger, louder artist named Julian became obsessed with Silas's success. Julian was talented, but he spent 10% of his time sculpting and 90% of his time talking about it. He craved the spotlight. To climb the ladder, Julian decided he had to pull Silas down. He began a public campaign of character assassination. He told the local guilds that Silas's work was a sham, that he used hidden molds, and that his silent demeanor was just a cover for his arrogance and lack of intelligence. He stood in the town square and mocked Silas's simple lifestyle, calling him a fraud who was afraid to face the public. The tension reached a breaking point one afternoon. Julian marched into Silas's studio, followed by a crowd of curious onlookers and hungry critics. Silas was working on his masterpiece, a massive figure of integrity. Julian screamed at him, "Why don't you answer me, Silas? I've called you a fraud to your face. If you are the master everyone says you are, defend yourself. Show us your truth or admit you are a coward." The room went silent. The air was thick with expectation. The critics leaned in, pens ready. This was the moment. If Silas stayed silent, he looked guilty. If he fought back, he looked desperate. Silas didn't drop his chisel. He didn't even look up at first. He finished a delicate stroke on the statue's hand. Then he set his tools down and looked at Julian. He didn't look angry. He looked sorry for him. Silas walked over to a table, poured a glass of water, and handed it to Julian, whose throat was dry from shouting. Silas then turned back to his statue and said only 5 words, "The stone will tell." He went back to work. Julian was furious. He threw the water down and stormed out, calling Silas a coward. For a few weeks, it seemed like Julian had won. People whispered in the markets. Silas lost a few minor commissions, but Silas didn't change his routine. He didn't post a statement. He didn't send his friends to argue on his behalf. He just kept carving. 6 months later, the statue was unveiled. It was so breathtaking, so undeniably perfect, that the entire city fell into a hush. In the presence of such mastery, Julian's words didn't just seem wrong, they seemed pathetic. The truth hadn't come from Silas's mouth, it had come from his hands. Why did Silas win? Because he understood a fundamental law of power. Explanation is a form of submission. When you defend yourself, you are unconsciously saying, "I need you to believe I am good so that I can feel good." You are putting your self-worth in the hands of your accuser. In the UK and USA markets, we see this constantly in cancel culture and corporate rivalries. The ones who survive and thrive are those who stay the course and let the noise die down. Think about the law of conservation.
Every minute you spend explaining your past is a minute you're not building your future. There is also the mirror effect. When you remain calm in the face of a false accusation, the accuser's vitriol has nowhere to land. It bounces back and stains them, not you. High-status individuals, the top 1% of CEOs, athletes, and thinkers, don't have time for the he said, she said. They are too busy moving the needle. So the next time someone tries to pull you into the mud, remember Silas. Remember that your character is a statue you are carving every single day with your actions, not your words. If they call you a failure, don't argue. Build a multi-million-dollar business. If they call you weak, don't argue. Master your discipline. If they call you a fraud, don't argue. Produce work that is so good it cannot be ignored. The stone will tell. Your life is the stone. Keep carving. If this story hit home for you, leave a comment below with the word still to show you're mastering the art of silent strength. I'm Success Journey Tales. Keep building, keep growing, and I'll see you in the next one.